Hello and welcome back to another video in this Java tutorial series. In this video we're going to be looking at how to install the GitHub project that goes along with this entire tutorial series, as well as learning a little bit about what GitHub is and why it's so useful. So getting right into it, I'm going to explain real quickly what exactly is GitHub. Well, or Git or GitHub is this really powerful tool that allows us to do two things. The first is share files. So if you'll see on the screen here, I'm able to upload code to the internet and share all of these different folders very easily with other people. And all it takes is a couple of buttons, and other people can have this exact same code running on their device. The other benefit of GitHub is it lets us do something called version control. It's kind of like this really powerful way of being able to control Z back to other past versions of our code, but it also has even one more feature where what we can do is it lets us split our code up into these things called branches. And what the purpose of this is say you're working on some like really big project that has a lot of active users on it. If you want to work on a new feature for that project, you what you would have is something called a production branch, and this is the branch that all of your users for your app would be using on a day-to-day basis. But if you wanted to make changes to this, if you wanted to test new code for this, you wouldn't want to deploy it to this production branch, because now, in case there's a bug in the new feature you just added, you would now have a lot of problems as all of your users are running into this bug, and maybe it caused your app to crash. And now nobody can use anything at all. So what Git can do is it can separate out different versions of your code into these things called branches that act completely independent of each other. So if you see these kind of like dots here, each of these dots would be like different things I've added each time I've like added code to a project. And which color they're in is on which branch I would add that code to. So with this feature one branch, what I could do is create a branch from the production code, and the code over here would be completely independent of the production code, allowing me to work on my feature and debug it without ever having to cause issues for these other branches. And I could even create a second feature branch where I'm working on another feature separate from feature one and production, and then once I know that all of this code is safe and that it won't break our production code that all of our users would be using, then I can actually do something what's called a merge, where I send this new code that I've been working on back into the production code. So now the production code is the same code that it was originally, but now with these other two features added that have already been fully tested and we know are now safe. So that's just a little bit about Git and GitHub. I guess I should better distinguish. Git is the thing that actually does all of like the version control. GitHub is this cloud app that basically stores all of our files and allows us to share this code with other people. But what we have here for navigating the GitHub page here, for other projects, you'll often see like a releases tab over here. So if you're trying to download a project that maybe has some kind of app that you're supposed to run or something like that, oftentimes there'll be a download link over here in this releases tab. You might have to unzip a folder or something, but that's what that's used for. There's some information here about the project, an about page or an about tab that just has a short description. Other projects will also have this thing called a README, and what this is a file that just basically tells, or it basically summarizes your entire project, so that if you have some setup requirements or something that's a bit more complicated and not very intuitive, you can very easily tell somebody who's wanting to work with your project how to set something up, or if they want to add something to it, how to go about doing that. But the main thing that we're concerned with here is getting all of these different folders here onto our local device. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over to this green button that says code, and we're going to copy this HTTPS link right here. And So what we're going to be able to do with this is we're going to be able to clone all of this just using that link. And in order to do this, we're going to hop over to VS Code. And if you're already in a project here and you don't have this welcome tab, what you can do is you can go to File and then go down to New Window, and it'll automatically open up um, a new window here with this welcome file. So if I expand this, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to hit clone git repository, and you're going to paste in that link. And when I hit enter, it's going to ask you for a folder where to store this locally on your machine. So if I go over to my desktop and I were to put it in desktop, a programming folder, and then I already have one in here. So this is Java tutorial one. I'm just going to create a new folder so I can easily delete it. Java Java tutorial test. And I can select that as the place to store it and select as repository destination. And what it's going to do is it's going to ask you, hey, do you want to open this cloned repository? And I'm going to hit open. And so now you're going to want to trust the authors, because that's me, and of course you can trust me. But what you're going to see over here is are these folders, and what you'll actually notice here is, oh hey, this only has 3 different folders here. What's going on? I thought this branch that we had earlier had these like 8 different or 7 different lessons in here. And what's going on here is that we are on a different branch of code. Remember in this example where I created these features that are completely separate from the production code? That's exactly what's happening here. Is we have different branches that are kind of each independent of each other, where the teacher branch is kind of like the branch, or is the features branch, where I figure out what stuff I want to add to a project, and then the student branch is where I actually send all of that like production code, the code that you will all be using in your projects. But what you'll notice here is that we are on one of these, we're on a different branch right now. And this is intentional just to show you kind of what, or how to kind of navigate through this. But right now we only have these 3 intro files, or intro folders, and we want to get to the one with all 7 of the current lessons. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over to this tab over here that says source control, and what you'll currently see, if I zoom in, what you will probably see on your screen right now is probably just this. And what this will eventually be used for is on other projects, you can upload your code, and if you hit commit, and there's a bit more to it, but if you commit your code to the cloud, it'll actually update this the GitHub page right here, so that other people can see the changes that you've made over GitHub. But currently, we don't have a way to do that branch switching, which you can see right here. And so what you're going to do is you're going to go to Views and More Action, and go to Views, and then Source Control Repositories, and it's going to show this branch right here. And what we're going to want to do is, it's really hard to see here. If I can pull it up, there we go. It tells us what branch we're currently on, and we're currently on the master branch, and we want to be on the student branch. And so if we go down to origin/student, you'll now notice that it did some loading of some things. But if we go back to our file explorer, you'll see that, oh hey, we have all of our lessons in here. And so when we switch branches, it switches to that different version of code that's separate from all the other versions. Alright, we're almost done here. If you wanted to open a folder, I'm going to zoom out here a bit. If you wanted to open a folder, you click on this arrow button right here, and then you can click on any of these folders and it's going to open them up for you. At this point, you should pretty much have everything working, but in case you have some errors, to test to make sure that everything is working, you'll want to go maybe to like this quiz file and just hit run, and it should boot up with this quiz to test your knowledge on data types quiz here. and it should be responsive to anything I type in here. That answer was incorrect, and then I could keep going through the quiz, but I'm not going to do that. Oops. I'll just go like this. Clear. Okay, but it should run. And if it's not running, you have a slight problem. And what's likely happening is that after installing a project, sometimes there are like a couple bugs with VS Code where a lot of the things that it manages in the background that you don't normally see can kind of get a little screwed up where something maybe is telling your VS Code, oh, hey, there's a file over at this location, when in reality it's stored somewhere else. And it can always be a little goofy to get this working, but there are kind of 3 steps that I have for fixing this. And in every case that I've seen, one of these 3 steps will usually fix it. So in the case that you hit the run Java button and nothing happens, or you get an error that says, oh, can't find the main file, can't run this thing, or like just nothing happens, my recommendation is to go down to this thing that says Java down here, and you're going to go over here and hit Clean Workspace Cache. And what this is going to do is it's just going to clear a bunch of things in the background. In this case, related specifically to Java, and all the stuff related to making a Java file run. If you hit run again and it still doesn't work, then what you might want to do is we have one other thing where you can hit Control Shift P. You got to hold all 3 of those at the same time. And this is specific to Windows. There's an equivalent command on Mac, which you'll just have to look up. Just look up Control Shift P on Mac or something like that if you need to. But what you should see in here is if you type out developer, I cannot type developer reload window, and you should see this this tab right here. If you click this, it should basically just restart VS Code from scratch and reload a bunch of that data in the background that it's handling. If you go now and you try to like run one of the quizzes, at this point it should be good. Worst case scenario, I would just restart your computer and then try those 2 steps again. And by that 3rd time, it should, from my experience, pretty much be up and running. But at this point, we should have everything necessary to actually begin development on our project. If you have any questions or problems that you're facing, just leave a comment down below, and I'll try to answer as quickly as possible. But we should be good to start actually getting into the actual tutorial parts of this Java tutorial. So thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one, and have a good rest of your day. Peace.